Hi, this is Doug and Brad with the Darksliders podcast.
Hello, everyone.
We usually put this at the end of the videos, but if you guys have any comments, just send them our way, because I know some people don't normally get to the end of our videos, and that's okay. We're not mad.
No hate.
No hate. But yeah, if you guys want to follow us on our Twitter and just send us comments, because we're really trying to figure out like how you guys want to listen to us. Do you guys want like a full hour-long podcast? Would you prefer to listen to sort of like 10, 20-minute short things that we talk about in our podcast? We're just trying to figure out, what you guys want to listen to, and we're pretty much open for anything except for screaming into microphones. We're not going to be screaming in microphones. We're not going to be making stupid jokes and yelling at each other.
No screaming and yelling cuss words, sadly.
No yelling, no. Unless we're talking about Silent Hills being canceled.
Then lots of cuss words.
All right. To get the episode started, as we normally and always do, we're going to talk about some games we played. And as it is with, I guess, both me and Brad, our games we play is entirely dictated by sales. So, so there's another... Man, these Can we just talk about the Flash sales for a second?
Yeah, they're crazy, and the greatest thing that's ever happened to Sony.
Oh my god, yeah. I remember when I was on PC for a few years when I was in college, and then I kind of switched over to consoles later on. And the one thing I was always missing with Steam sales was like, Steam says you get games for like $1 to $5. I was like, crap, consoles, like on consoles you just never got that. But man, these Flash sales have been crazy. Like $1 games, $5 games, $10 games. I think like the entire sale was almost entirely $5 games.
It was all 5 and below this week, which is just crazy. And that was always my thing too, is like I've never been into PC games like at all. I've been console since like I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I always just like I would see these Steam sales and I'd just be like, why can't I get that? Like, I would totally pay $5 for like half these games that you guys are paying $5 for, and it's just Sony finally did something about that, so that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. So I think I spent like $24 and got like 5 games or something. But one of these games, I think me and Brad are both sort of interested in this one, and it was only $3. So this game was Entwined. Entwined was kind of a weird arty game that I think both of us were kind of interested in.
Yep.
What is Entwined? Entwined is an arty game. I don't know, Brett, can you explain Entwined? I'm having a hard time trying to come up with like a good way to explain what Entwined is.
So Entwined is basically, it's a 2-stick game, so you use both sticks and you control, it's a fish and a bird, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then basically you go through this kind of tunnel and you try and hit these different colors on each side, and each one of the two kind of only occupies half the screen.
Yeah,
and
so
you're trying to match these things in colors into patterns as you go through to get to the end of the level, and you have to try and basically hit enough of these in a row or without making mistakes to eventually fill up your meter, and then you entwined with the other one to become this big dragon thing, and then you do something as a dragon that I never understood.
That's a really good explanation for it. Yeah, I mean, so it's basically this game where it's like, you just have the 2 sticks and you control one side and the other. Actually, it reminds me of there's a lot of games that are kind of like this where you go down a tunnel and try to avoid, and like try to get in the holes that as like you zoom down a tunnel. It's just one of those games. But the presentation, I think, is what makes this game. Gameplay is okay. I don't know what your feelings are on the gameplay. I thought it was okay. I thought it was even a little frustrating. But the art style for this is so cool. And the reason Brad's not gonna. I don't know if Brad's not gonna have the same experience of why I enjoyed it. The reason I enjoyed it is because when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of 90s CG animation, which is this really, really simple designs. And usually they're sort of like just tech demo things. So they'd be like really simple design, simple animation, but there's like really nice like ethereal sort of music. And it'd just be kind of like really pretty things kind of going across the screen. And this game was like those early 90s CG, except I was like now playing it and it was real time. So I thought that was really, really cool. Speaking of this 90s CG stuff, this game I think is actually, a ripoff is not the right word.
Based loosely on.
Based loosely, I'm going to put loosely in quotes. As I was saying, this reminds me of 90s CG. This actually reminds me of a very specific 90s short film called Love Found in Beyond the Mind's Eye. I think I'll actually put it in the YouTube description so you guys can take a look at it. But it's actually a story of like a bird and a fish like who fall in love and try to connect to each other. So I'll throw that up there. Then you guys can decide.
Well, there is a trophy in this for bringing the bird and the fish together enough that's called love.
Is it really?
Yeah, you didn't get that one?
Oh, I didn't care. I don't care about trophies.
We still haven't had that discussion.
I thought
Anyway.
the trophy notifications were annoying as shit in this game.
Nope. They always they happen on the load screen every time.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to enjoy my experience of this fish and bird dancing together, and then it's like
The screen's just white for a second
ba-ding.
before it goes to the next level, and it goes bloop, and then you get your trophy.
Yeah, but you get like a million. The game's only what, like an hour and a half long.
9 levels.
Yeah,
Hour and a half.
and there's like 12 trophies. You get like there's.
But
like,
you only get 10 of them until you start getting to the challenge ones. Like I finished the game with 10 out of 12, and there's just like I think 2 for challenges, which you can't get in the main game. So there's.
I guess I don't know. I've been talking too long. What do you think about this game?
I liked it. It's a good. I think it's on sale. Well, probably not by the time you listen to this, but at the time it was on sale for $3, which it's a great $3 game. I think it originally was like $10, but it's a fun game. It's interesting. I didn't really get frustrated with it. Like the issue with this, and I'd be really curious because there's got to be some data somewhere as to how, like where people mess up, because the whole game is based on like coordination of like using one side and doing the opposite with the other. So it controls with the 2 sticks. But, like, one stick you'll have to push up in the same motion you're pushing it down, but then the next one you'll have to push it up and then push the other one up, and there's a lot of, like, back-and-forth coordination things going back and forth with the sticks in this. Like, the one that always got me is there's one where you start going with the left, and then you have to wait, like, half a second to do the same motion with the right one, and I never got that one the whole game.
There's a few... I thought this game was way too frustrating for what it was supposed to be.
Really?
Like I was the last few levels, like I was swearing like out loud. Like it's these wonderful little fish and bird going la 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 and dancing and things like that. And I was like cussing because it was so freaking hard. And
I had that
I just
like
found it,
once or twice, but
oh no, I was not. I'm not good at this game. I'm not good at this game at all.
Well, part of me kind of feels like this is almost like I started thinking about it like a music game. Like every time I came to something new, I think of it like a beat pattern.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Almost like playing Rock Band or Guitar Hero, where it's like, okay, so in this one it's hold it up for 2 seconds, left for 2 seconds, down for 2 seconds, or okay, and you can almost match it because every time you hit one, it makes a sound. So you almost think of it like a beat pattern, and I think that makes it way easier.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, I forgot to mention this is a music game. I wouldn't call it a rhythm game, but this is kind of a music game in that like it kind of reminds me of Rez, and was it Child of Eden?
Yes. Yep, Child of Eden.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of those games where it was a music game, but it was not like a traditional rhythm-based game like Parappa the Rapper or like Frequency or Guitar Hero and stuff like that. So
it's a game that entwines the music very well with the gameplay.
God damn it. Yeah, I thought I did like that. I did feel like there were certain points when I felt like I was just kind of playing one of those flash games where you're going down the tunnel. But there was something kind of cool with like the way you move the sticks that you really do feel like kind of like a conductor. Yep. Almost. It kind of felt like what I imagine that Fantasia game would be on Xbox One, which I still
with the Kinect thing?
Yeah, I really want that game a lot.
Or Wii Music.
I don't know. Is it like Wii Music?
I never played Wii Music, but in my mind that's what you did, is you just conducted something, but
I think that was the theory behind Wii Music. But yeah, it felt like I was kind of like conducting a short film. I don't know if this is a good game, but it's definitely a cool like experience. I like these like little experience games, to be honest. They're not really.
It's short, it's relatively cheap, and it's just something different that you normally don't. Nobody would pay $60 for this. Nobody would want to make a game big budget in this style. Mm-hmm. It's something interesting that you're only going to see in this form.
Yeah, and I think it was the perfect length too. It wasn't. I mean, it's an hour and a half. Just I guess if you don't know it's an hour and a half going into it, I could see people getting kind of frustrated, like, oh, I spent this much money on it. Why is this so short? But when I felt with it, I was like, yeah, it's done. I didn't.
Yep. I wouldn't want to spend more time with it. It would definitely overstay its welcome if it was any longer.
Yeah, I think that's kind of real quick to go back to the Order. It's like we felt like we kind of want to play more of the Order, and it kind of just ended. Well, this one I felt like it just sort of ended where it needed to.
Yep.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't mention that's actually really interesting about this, especially with E3 coming up next month, is this game came out of nowhere. Like, do you remember when this game was announced? Like, this game literally...
I love this stuff. Oh, God.
Literally at Sony's press conference, they're just like, oh yeah, check out this new game. They showed the trailer and they went, yeah, if you go on the PS Store right now, it's available for download, $10. Go get it. Like, I love that kind of stuff, and I'm really hoping they kind of continue that trend. Because last year, I think it was Sony did that, and PT were both
Yeah,
last year, where it was
PT
just
was
like,
the last one that did that. Yeah.
where it's just like, oh yeah, and this is available now, go get it.
Yeah, I love those. Oh my gosh, I love those announcements so much. I think they're so cool, and they're just like, here's a brand new game, here's a trailer, go get it now. That is what I'm actually super excited about at E3 is because there's a few E3 announcements that we kind of know about, or not know about. We'd like, well, why wouldn't they show this? But there always are those games that like you just have no idea what they are. Like Rhyme was another one that kind of came out of nowhere. It's these smaller games that people like, even if they leaked them, people wouldn't even know what they were about. So, like, you don't really understand what they are until you see the trailer. Those are the good E3, and those are my favorite E3 announcements. Besides, like, the big, oh my god, there's a 4
Uncharted
at the end of this.
4.
Or Fallout 4. Although, the Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Fantasy 15 trailer combo was ballin'. Oh, man. That was cool. Oh, yeah, so, kind of in a similar vein, this was a PS Plus game that I had actually wanted to play for a while. And speaking of sort of experience games, Hohokum. Hohokum? Hohokum? Doesn't matter. You guys know what it is.
Take your favorite of those 3.
Yeah. This game, I really, really like this game. And I could see some people really, really not liking this game. Brad is raising his hand like that matters on a podcast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, me too. Or I disagree, or whatever I'm supposed to say there. Anyway.
Oh, man. Well, I like this game a lot. First of all, I'll say why I like this game, and then you can explain why you don't like this game, because I am kind of curious as to why you don't. This is a game that I think is just... I don't think it's a game, which sounds really bad. It's like, oh, well, all games...
There is part of my argument right there.
Well, no. But to me, I see it as like one of those like interactive art experiments kind of thing, where... like it's kind of like, I don't know if you go to art museums, but sometimes they'll just have like panels where you can sort of touch and everything sort of reacts to you. In this game, like every little thing reacts to your presence, which I really, really like, and it kind of feels like a toy. It's kind of like those kids' toys. I imagine myself as like a little kid, and you have like that big board of like things that spin and whirl, and like you're slowly discovering that stuff. And this is like the adult version of that.
I'm just picturing you in front of one of those things, just like slapping at every button, and it's making all these obnoxious noises.
No, but that's like what this thing is. It's exactly that thing for adults. Yeah, I can see it as I'm saying. That's like why somebody would really not like this game. No, but I like that. I like that. Whenever I enter, because you sort of, first of all, like you're not given a goal at all. They sort of insinuate a goal that you're supposed to help find your friends. But they don't really tell you how to explore. They don't tell you where to go, which I love. That's kind of the reason I really like Bloodborne. I'm going to put Bloodborne in all our podcasts at some point. But I really like that that there's a sort of like weird exploration aspect where you're never really sure where you're going, and then when you get there, you're not sure what to do. Like every level has like a completely different objective that is totally dissimilar to the one before it.
Wait, what was the objective?
Well,
because every time you just had to get to a little circle, and then you fly through the circle, and the background changes.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, there's actually objectives. There's actually like
like you light up like the trees or whatever, and then you light up all the trees, and then the hole shows up, and you go in the hole.
No, there's actual puzzles, dude.
Maybe I didn't get that far before I turned it off.
No, it's not that far. It's like every panel has a different puzzle. So the one that you're talking about, there's ones where you sort of like light up this area. It's completely dark, and you sit there and you sort of zoom through, and as you're like lighting up these lampposts, and when you light up all the lampposts, there's this little guy that dances, and they're like, and then the portal opens up.
Yeah.
But if you explore, that's what you're supposed to do in this game, Brad. If you go up, then you end up in the sky, and when you go in the sky, like all of a sudden, like these stars will start like lighting up, and as you flick around, all of a sudden you'll start making shapes in the sky, and as you keep doing that, like you'll see a shape form. And then you unlock one of your like little buddies. So like every level you like unlock a new little buddy.
Okay.
How do you not like? I can't believe you don't like this game. Okay. Oh, one other thing I do want to say before Brad I just feel like Brad's getting ready to just take a giant dump on this game. The music is amazing. This is a game like you have to play with headphones. I don't even know how you would play this game without headphones. It just would not be nearly as interesting or as fun because like everything that you touch reacts to the music as well. So that you're sort of like playing music as you're figuring out these puzzles. That's really, really neat. So I really like this game, Brad. The art style, the exploration aspect, the kind of it's just a toy instead of a game. It's more of an interactive art thing. Why don't you like this game, Brad? Why don't you like this game?
Basically everything you said. The music I will give you. The music is really good. Now, granted, I played this game for maybe like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, not much longer than that. Like, I literally like sat down and was just, nope. And we've talked about this before, which is games that you play a game and you just feel like this is not a game for me, and that's what I said with Bloodborne 2. And it's turning out we have very, very distinctly different opinions on several games. This is interesting.
No, I like that. No, that's good. If we agreed on all the same stuff, then this would be a boring podcast.
But
a more boring podcast, I guess.
Anyway, my issue, like you said, is, and I kind of felt this game like the only other game I've played really like this in this similar vein, where it's like I feel like I didn't like have an objective, is I think it's called Proteus. Was that the little like 2D?
Oh yeah, Proteus.
Like
yeah.
it's like that, where you're just wandering, and you have no objective, and you have no goal, and you're just wandering to wander. And
you don't like that, or?
No, I don't like that. I if I'm playing a game, I want to have a goal. I want to have something to do. And this didn't, like I said, like to me, it just felt like the couple. I mean, again, I only got through maybe like the first X number, not very many, but like. Mm-hmm. I lit up all the trees. Okay, now you can go to the next level. Oh, the next level, I lit up all the lampposts. You can go to the next level. The next time, I made all the little guys dance. Now you can go to the next level. Like, I don't know. It just felt like I was just, okay, I'm doing my little swirly circles around the screen, and it looks kind of pretty. And, oh, there's a hole. Go in the hole. Okay, now I'm swirling around again. Oh, there's a new hole. Go in the hole.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I think... it's like you were saying that you kind of just like went to the hole, so you thought your objective was to get the hole, but there actually are like puzzles that you actually sort of have to find in the world. So like one of them is like there's an amusement park, and you can like fly around the amusement park, and you can get to the hole like pretty easily, like where it is. But you realize you're starting to like build parts of a roller coaster, but they never tell you that you're supposed to build parts of a roller coaster. You just sort of like find one after putting a person in a certain place. And then you're like, oh, maybe this is what I have to do for this level, is build this roller coaster. And then you do build a roller coaster, and then you unlock a guy.
See, I didn't even know you could unlock guys, because I just went for that hole every time.
Yeah, I think you should go back and, like,
See, but that's my issue with these, is, to me, my goal, if I'm playing a game, I want to finish the game. Like, there are some games where, yeah, I want to go explore around, and I want to play with all the pretty little things, but not very often. And to me... You're giving me a very clear objective. When I turned on that first level and I just kind of like, ooh, this is pretty. I'm spinning around. Okay. Okay. So my goal is just to get to that hole. And like, because the first level, I'm assuming there's not much else.
Yeah.
It's basically just a black screen. So get to the hole. The next level, I start flying around. Okay, where's the hole? Where's the hole? This is pretty. There's the hole. Okay, got the hole. Next. I'm still. And it's just like in my mind, that was all I had to do was. Here's the hole. The goal is to get to the hole. So my goal was to get there, and that was all I wanted to do. Like. What's the point of me just spinning around to see it? Like, I can see the pretty stuff on my way to the hole.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Because I actually didn't realize what the objective of the game was either until, like, because what happened was I went through the holes and I ended up back where I was. I was like, I'm not playing this game right. I don't think the game doesn't teach you very well how to interact with it. And while there's certain expectations to, like, you need to explore the environment yourself, but they don't really, but like you said, they kind of show you that your objective is to get through the holes, even though that's not really the case. The objective is to collect your friends, and the only way to collect your friends is to solve these puzzles that are built inside the levels, but they teach you just to go to the hole. So I could understand that. Like, I think right now you're playing it wrong, but I don't think the game ever taught you to play it right.
Yeah, so it's the game's fault I don't like it.
I don't know. I think you should go back then. If that's how you were playing the game, I think you should go back and like try to solve the puzzles because I think yeah.
But see, to me, I don't like that part of games where it's like, okay, you need to find what you need to do in this level. No, tell me what to do. Like, don't make me fly around in circles here and waste 20 minutes trying to find this roller coaster piece and then go, oh, I've been looking for a roller coaster this whole time. Don't make me do that. Just, you go through the hole and it goes, I mean, right away, give you a roller coaster piece and go, boom, roller coaster, got it. Find the rest of the roller coaster piece. That I'm fine with, but I don't like this, like, well, maybe if I go in the sky, there'll be dancing people and I have to go find the rest. Like, I don't want, to me, a game shouldn't be that abstract where I have to sit here and think about what I need to do. I'm fine if it's...
Sorry.
Wait. Let me finish that, because that sounds really dumb. I'm fine if it wants to be abstract in the way it wants me to accomplish something, but I don't want it to be abstract in the way of me having to figure out its abstract message of what I need to be doing other than swirling around and getting to the hole.
Okay, I can see that. That's kind of like the Portal. That's like the Portal games are really good at doing like what you just described, where you know where you're supposed to go, like you need to get to that door,
but you have to think
you don't know
through
how to get
what
there.
You need to do, how you can, and you have to be okay. Well, maybe if I put it here, maybe if I move this here, and you have to think. Like I love that. That's great for me.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is Portal just going, here's a gun.
Yeah,
that's it. Like
yeah.
That to me is what this game did. Is here's your guy, and my first thing I figured out is get to the hole. So I got to the hole.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that. So, okay, that's kind of interesting because do you like objective markers in games? Like, this is kind of off topic, but like, would you like more just for an objective marker to tell you where to go, or something just to tell you this is where you need to go, but doesn't actually show you where?
What I personally, if I could set it up every time, it would be like a. It depends on the style of game. Like
that's true. Yeah.
That's very much like in Bloodborne. What I would have liked is if it gave me like a picture of the building I was looking for, like that. So it's not like walk down this street, take a right, then a left, then it's right there. It's the third house on the right. Like not that, but like, okay, here's a picture of what you're looking for. Go find that. That I'm fine with.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
But this game is just we're not going to tell you what you're looking for. We're not going to show you what we're not even going to tell you which direction it's in. You just need to come up with what you need to find. I don't like that. No.
See, I love that. That's so funny because I love that. That's why I like Bloodborne and Dark Souls series so much is because they don't give you direction and like you're supposed to just go find the nooks and crannies. It's just a different style of play.
Completely.
That I hope I actually see more of, and you would not want to see more of.
Nope.
That's kind of interesting. I think Hohokum's cool. I think people should at least give it a try.
It is pretty, and the music is good, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Maybe it's just not for me. That could be too. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
true.
I can see why somebody would like it. It's just I'm not going to.
Not yours. Yeah. So we actually didn't play a lot of games this week. I think that was a good discussion though. So as we usually go on, we kind of after we talk about the games we played, we move on to news and games we're excited about. This is kind of weird because we probably won't do this again. Because we don't like talk about games for reviews that we haven't like played yet. But man, I don't think people were expecting this at all. I think this is just newsworthy in itself. The Witcher 3 is getting some stupid good reviews, like really good. I think there's a lot of I think people thought it was going to be okay. Like this is one of those games I thought it was going to be like a really strong 8.0 or 8.5 or something somewhere in there. But this game is just getting 9s and 10s left and right. And kind of the reason we're talking about this is because me and Brad do not like the Witcher series
at all.
At all. No. And well, I guess we could talk a little bit why, but we're both really interested in The Witcher 3. I don't think it's just because of scores either. The scores are like the thing that gets your attention, but like the more as you like read about this game, like everything about it just sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Because when this game was first announced, I went, "Oh, great, cool, whatever." And then they were like, "Oh, well, now it's gonna be open world." And I went, okay, that has me more intrigued. Yeah. And then they showed some gameplay for it. I was like, okay, that's really pretty. And the more they've shown about this, the more and more I've got interested. And just like what pushed me over the cliff was last week, like all those reviews. I mean, I expected this to be one of those games where like, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but those games where the mainstream kind of public's like, it's okay. And it's got that dedicated fan base that is just, oh my god, this is the greatest thing that's ever been invented.
Yeah, that's what I expected. Dark Souls. That's like Dark Souls and Demons.
Yeah, Dark Souls. That's essentially what I assumed it was going to be. But this is like, it's gotten such good that it's like, I played The Witcher 2. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about this now. Like, what? Like, why? I don't understand why I want to play this, but I kind of have a desire to play this.
Yeah, I bought Witcher. I actually own Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. I bought The Witcher 1 because it was on a Steam sale. And it was really neat, but man, the combat and animations just were terrible, like real bad. And then I got Witcher 2. I just think the combat or whatever, I think it was the combat mostly that's throughout these games, is the combat just does not click with me at all. It feels really strange. Like it's not It's definitely not your typical action game at all. And it felt, it's like this, it's kind of those weird, to me, it's like those weird middle grounds. This is just talking about Witcher 2, and I did not get very far, so this might have been different. But it's one of those weird middle grounds between like traditional Baldur's Gate style click and Diablo sort of like click and attack sort of thing, and then just a straight action game. And it's sort of that like weird middle ground where nobody's happy.
Yep.
And I didn't like it at all. Like that was like the only that was like literally the only reason I didn't like The Witcher 2 is because I just couldn't get the combat down. It just felt super weird to me. Just the movement felt strange. So that's kind of why I'm like looking at Witcher 3. Like I hope they really fix that or improve. I keep hearing that they did like small improvements for it. The thing I'm actually really interested is I'm not a huge fan of Jim Sterling. I think he's okay. I can understand. Like sometimes he does good stuff. Sometimes he just.
We're calling people out on the podcast.
We're not calling people out. I'm not calling people out. But he actually really didn't like The Witcher 1 or Witcher 2 either. Like he hated them. But he's doing like a review for Witcher 3. So that's actually the review I'm most interested in. And not because of Jim Sterling. I'm more interested in a review from somebody who did not like Witcher 1 and 2.
Has the same perspective as you do on the series as opposed to these people who... I mean, Witcher 2 is held in really high esteem. And I'm with you where like... I think I made it maybe 10 hours into that game and it was just one of those games
got that far?
Yeah, it was... It might not, but it was between 5 and 10, somewhere in that.
Okay, yeah. But you put the time in it, yeah.
Yeah, and just it was one of those things. Like the more and more I played, it was just like I kept waiting for it to click. You know, there's those games that you just have to play, and once you play it for a couple hours, you finally get it down.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with Bloodborne, didn't care for Bloodborne, but even with that, like there was a distinct difference in the first hour versus the 9th or 10th hour I put into Bloodborne. And I kept waiting for that change where it's like, I will understand how to play this game. I will get the combat. The combat will make sense. I will have fun with the combat. Yeah. And it just never happened. And it just threw me out. And again, I'm curious if people can overcome that in this and they've changed it enough that, you know, hey, I'd be willing to give it a shot. But
yeah,
I'm so conflicted with this because the last game I felt like this with was Bloodborne.
And you still need to play.
If you've listened to our podcast, you know where I stand on Bloodborne, and I have the same feelings I did with that, where it's like, I hated Dark Souls, Ooh, that got really good reviews. People really like that game. And I'm like, damn it, I'm buying it. Why not? And it's like, ugh, I don't want to get burned on that again, where it's like, oh, I didn't like it, but people liked it, so I should try. And that's where I'm at with this.
It felt more disappointing because I really wanted to like it. I
think, absolutely.
And that's what I'm kind of worried, because this game, like, honestly, I'm willing to drop 60. Like, this sounds like a game that's worth $60 to me, because it's so big and long. But from what I understand is like how the story goes, that the ebb and flow of the story like keeps it really interesting throughout the entire playtime. Like that's the one thing I keep hearing about is like a lot of, because we always complain about JRPGs that the story just it takes forever to tell. It's just not really interesting. But I've heard like this is one of the things like with The Witcher 3 is like, oh, it keeps you interested the entire time, and they have some like really big not plot twist, but like kind of like how Bloodborne has like a huge left or right turn like halfway through the game. They're saying that happens to The Witcher as well. So that has me really, man, I really want to like this game. I want to rent it and see if it sticks, and then just go right into it afterwards, and then actually just go out and buy it. So moving on to a game that we're not really interested in. I mean, I feel bad for ragging on Assassin's Creed all the time, but man, they just keep giving us excuses too. So Assassin's Creed Syndicate was announced finally. This was leaked like a long time ago.
And who didn't know? I mean, who didn't know it was coming?
Well, okay. We didn't. To be fair, the setting is unique, kind of. It would have been. I'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, we'll talk about the actual news. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is announced, set during London Industrial Revolution. You work for the Assassins as always, and from what I can understand from the cinematics, it's like you're basically trying to take over the gangs so you can slowly take over London, and that's about it. And I think this would have actually had a much bigger impact early, like 2 or 3 years ago, mostly because the setting now is not unique. Because Bloodborne came out, which is sort of that Victorian era. Yeah. Then The Order came out, which is sort of that Victorian era. I think about that. And both those games just look way better than this one.
Oh, by far.
And I mean like just art style. Like I just mean by art standards. Like they showed some like they made sure that you knew it was pre-alpha gameplay.
That was tagged right on the bottom of the screen, nice big bold letters.
It definitely looked like pre-alpha gameplay. I don't. My impression from it was like because I got super excited about Unity. I didn't buy Unity. That was like one of those like I was waiting on the reviews, and the reviews said it was bad. But they got me super excited about Unity. Ubisoft did a really good job with the marketing in that game, where they did put a lot of money into it. This seems like it's kind of released it too early. But man, I don't know about this game. I'm not feeling it at all, especially coming off of Unity. What they sort of had that bad blood from Unity, and now they showed this. So I felt like they kind of really had to, put one step forward and say, we're gonna fix Assassin's Creed. And I don't know, it doesn't look like it.
No, it's all the same old stuff. I mean, if you watch the gameplay, there's not a single new looking thing. I mean, I haven't played Assassin's Creed. The only one I've played is the first one, and I didn't particularly care for that even. But
oh, seriously? Wait, you never played Assassin's Creed 2?
No, I haven't. I just never got around to it.
Oh, that's actually a good game.
Oh, well, maybe I'll play that too. But no, I've only played the first one. And my issue is that one was okay. It was interesting. It was unique at the time, but they all just look like it's the same thing over and over again. And
yeah,
if I didn't care for the first one, why not? But I don't know. Like I do like the Industrial Revolution setting just from like if you look historically where they're at. I like that time period. It's an interesting time period, and like with the whole gadget piece that they always throw in there and doing unique things from the time period, I feel like you could do a lot with that. I just don't feel like they're going to. But
yeah, like the one thing they show, it's like, oh, you have a grapple hook. It's like, okay.
So does Batman.
Yeah, so does so it's like everybody, but they
does Link.
Yeah, they didn't show anything to make this game unique, and especially not from an Assassin's Creed. It looked like a I don't know. It just feels like they're really doing like a paint by numbers on this, and which sucks because like there are people who like really do work hard on these games. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just I don't know if it takes some sort of management's just scared to really try anything different with it because it sells regardless. It doesn't really matter what they do. It's like as long as they keep painting by numbers, people are going to keep buying it. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they really care about us or people who aren't interested in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, this looks like a game for people who are interested in it. And as I'm thinking about this, I am curious, and I don't know nearly enough about Assassin's Creed to make any claims about this. But I know between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 where they did like 2, like it wasn't Assassin's Creed 3, it was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and then Revelations.
That was
so like, are these
2
just
and 3.
like yearly updates before we get to the next big one? You know what I mean?
They did sort of insinuate that this is kind of like they did that recently with Rogue, Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is the last gen version. That's what I kind of feel like this game is. It's sort of like that in between their big Assassin's Creed game, which is weird though because those games are normally set in the same time period.
Oh, that's true.
As other games, so it kind of like when I clicked on the gameplay, I was expecting another big Unity reveal because when Unity revealed, like that game looked awesome, like that got people excited. So I was kind of expecting that same sort of level of oh my god, this is actually getting me interested in Assassin's Creed, but this one looked it just didn't look like it had the budget, like nearly the same budget as Unity. It seems like one of those, like you said, it's like sort of like a middle of the road ones. I think this might just be their stopgap between whatever their next one is. Maybe they're going to release new gameplay in the future that'll just make it look amazing. But man, that initial reveal, I don't know, especially because this game's coming in October. Maybe they should, I don't know, left in the cooker a little bit longer. But that pre-alpha gameplay looked like pre-alpha gameplay.
I mean, and this is the issue you always get into with these yearly releases where there's always going to be that one that's not the good one because it's like, oh crap, we just got to get this out to get it out before we give them the full. I mean, we talked about Black Ops 3 a couple weeks ago where it's like, okay, well, they took the full actual time on this one. It's bad when that's impressive. We gave them 2 or 3 years, which is a typical game dev cycle. We gave them a normal development time to make this. It's like, that shouldn't be unique to this game. Like, it's just like, if you only have a year and a half to work on something, you only have a year and a half to work on it. And I don't know the backstory behind this game, but that's kind of what it feels like to me.
It's like it's kind of like those, like, I feel it's like one of those, like, 1.5 releases, kind of like, there's a few games like this, like Origins, is it Arkham Origins? Arkham Origins, the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood series, and Rogue. There's a few other games that they kind of feel like, Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yep.
It's just these ones that they kind of just release, and it's like obviously the publisher doesn't care about it too much, and I feel like these people are kind of like the whole game is just on crunch because they just need to get it out to make money for the next big game. Yep. So I don't know. I just feel kind of bad for them, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So sticking with the Ubisoft news, I guess Ubisoft They just announced that they're done with last gen, except for Just Dance, but Just Dance is like a weird Ubisoft thing to begin with.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's not for people who've already bought a PS4. That's for
Yeah,
if you bought a PS4, it wasn't for Just Dance 16 or whatever they're on. It was.
yeah. There's a lot of actually. It was really funny in college. There's like a lot of girls really like that series. Like I had to play Just Dance once. I mean, they're okay. They're not bad games. I mean, they're not great games, but it's just a dancing.
They fill
game.
a role.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Ubisoft moving to next gen. I think we're gonna see more companies doing this. I don't think people are gonna announce it. I think that's just gonna happen though.
Yeah, I think this came out at like a like a business call or whatever, the like stockholder thing. Like I think it came out with that, was like they said just, hey, we're new Assassin's Creed, new this, new that. We're pretty much moving past these, but like you said, I think by the end of the year, I think EA, Activision, all the big companies will be in the same boat where it's outside of the really casual style games or the sports games. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, I think even, I mean, is NHL 16 and 15 on?
15 was.
Oh, was on PS3 and 360?
Yeah, well, 15 was the first NHL game on PS4. There wasn't a 14.
Oh,
there was
okay,
a Madden.
Right.
The first year EA only did. There was a Madden and an NBA, and then of course the show were the only 3 sports games, because the rest they all held off until the second year.
Oh, okay.
So last year was the first year of full sports releases.
Gotcha. Okay, but yeah, I think yeah. Besides sort of like some sports games and things like that, I really do expect that it's going to kind of move over. I think people are kind of tired. Like I think a lot of people are like waiting for next gen to get started. Not that next gen hasn't started. Like there's still some like really great next gen games. But I can see, because you're kind of frustrated as well. Like a lot of remasters and a lot of the cross gen games like Wolfenstein feel like cross gen games. Like they don't really look next gen. They look they look okay, but
just an up-resed version.
Yeah, exactly. More Ubisoft news. Division. This actually surprised me because I don't like talking about delays. Cause I think delay news is kind of boring. But this actually surprised me because the Division was delayed to 2016, and the thing that surprised me about this was announced like 2 years ago now.
Maybe even 3.
I just remember they announced the Division. The Division was their Watch Dogs ender for the year after they announced Watch Dogs.
Yeah, so that probably would have been it would have been 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember which, but
yeah.
I mean, that means this game was announced at least 3.5 years before release, which is because this will be a holiday game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So end of 2016 would be my guess, which means you announced this at minimum 3.5 years early.
Yeah, that's so weird. I'm thinking because I think they're scared after Unity. I think they did not get the sales that they expected for Unity, and that was kind of one of the first games that the like everybody as a whole got mad about technical issues, because I feel like there's not a large percentage, there's not a lot of people who are mad about technical issues. Like a lot of people can just like overlook it. But I think this is like the first time like just the whole gaming press just eviscerate them over all the bugs and glitches.
Yeah.
And it's just because we're now in the YouTube generation where you could upload anything. Like people are just uploading clips like, oh, look how crappy and glitchy this game is. And I think they're just trying to not do that.
Well, and not to mention all the crap that Watch Dogs got between.
That's true. Here's
the initial trailer and here's this. I mean, if I remember correctly, The Division had gameplay 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a gameplay trailer. I don't think it was a live demo, but I believe it was gameplay footage that they showed, or quote unquote gameplay. So I think that's, in my mind, that's part of it too, where it's like, people have a really clear impression of what this game is supposed to look like, and I don't really feel like we've seen much since.
No, they actually have shown quite a bit of gameplay. Like it all looks like that gameplay they showed originally. There's like a little bit of downgrade stuff, but like it's not enough for people to get a hoopla about. But I think that like they really just have a lot of vertical slices of this game, and they're not, and they sort of realize like, you know what, we actually do have to make the game look like this, and it has to be good. Yeah. Because like every time they keep showing it, like the gameplay looks kind of similar, but they keep adding or subtracting stuff. It looks like they're sort of still like figuring out a lot of stuff for this game, at least since last E3. Yeah, I don't know. I think like Ratchet was also delayed, but we haven't seen anything of Ratchet, so that's like, okay, sure, they might need an extra year for that. I don't know. But this is just surprising because they announced it so long ago. I think that Ubisoft is actually scared that they don't want to repeat another Unity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to some more lighthearted news. Nintendo released a stupid video. Nintendo released a really stupid video that was kind of fun.
I'm pretty sure, like, whenever you're talking about video games and you say something lighthearted, I feel like the word Nintendo almost always needs to follow.
That's true. That's true. Nobody really makes that many like lighthearted games anymore, except for Nintendo. But they released a video that was basically, I think it was their I wouldn't even call it a pre-E3 video. It's like E3 teaser, kind of. But they didn't even tell you what they're going to show at E3. Let me talk about what happened. So Nintendo announced in this fun little video that they're going to bring back the Nintendo World Championship 2015. They also announced that they're going to have another Treehouse Live, that there's going to be another Direct, and that they're also going to have Mario Maker at Best Buy.
The week following E3.
So yeah, I guess just starting with the Nintendo World Championship thing, I thought this was cool because I think this is like Nintendo acknowledging their fans like our age.
Yep.
Because, I mean, Nintendo World Championship just in general is like obscure as shit. Like, that is...
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been, what, like 25, 30 years?
Yeah, like I think it was... Well, that's the whole thing. Like, okay, this is so obscure to get a cart. Like, the most expensive Nintendo cart is an actual Nintendo World Championship cart because there's only like 20 of them made or something like that. So, like, nobody really knows about this except for like diehard Nintendo fans. Yeah. I actually don't know what it means and like what they're going to do. I'm kind of hoping that it's going to be like a game that they release for free. That's going to be. Do you actually know how the cart worked for the original one? It was like 3 different games.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be something like that, where like the NES Remix game, where they're going to have like little, basically 2-minute demos of like 4 or 5 different games, and then you beat it, and then you upload your score to the internet, and then it does that. I'm kind of hoping it's something like that. I think it'd be kind of cool if if it really was sense. A world championship.
Well, and that's something you can actually do now. And I mean, to be fair, Nintendo's finally actually accepted online stuff to begin with. So, and essentially, to me, it's just like, okay, we're going to release this thing that's specifically designed around leaderboards and just hold the tournament based off those leaderboards. Like,
yeah. I hope that's what it is. I hope it's not just like, oh, we're going to pick the top 20 gamers, and it's just going to be like famous YouTubers. That would make me sad.
Get some good press going there.
Yeah, give like PewDiePie and those other guys.
Get all the youngins excited.
Yeah, millennials. Gotta get those millennials excited.
I'm pretty sure we fall into that before you start saying much more.
Are we millennials?
I don't really know. I think so.
Probably.
I don't know.
Whatever. I don't like other millennials. I don't know. They also announced Treehouse Live. I like Treehouse Live. I thought
Treehouse Live is like one of the best ideas I've ever seen. I love it.
Yeah, so what do you like about Treehouse Live?
I just love the fact that it's gameplay.
That's true.
I mean, think about how much of E3 is CG trailers, like pre-rendered stuff, like just completely taped and recorded things. I mean, this is just people sitting down and playing games, and a lot of times it's the developers. And yeah, I love hearing people talk about stuff, and I think I've talked about this before. Like, I just wish there was more stuff where people who make games are able to talk about games.
Yeah.
There's not much. I mean, people who do movies. I mean, Joss Whedon's been interviewed about 8 billion times talking about the Avengers, but not a single person has interviewed, anybody who made Bloodborne. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, they do.
Well, they do, but like, it doesn't get any press, it doesn't get out anywhere. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like that background thing, and this is something where it's putting the developers first and foremost. They're able to talk about their game as they play their game.
I feel like this is sort of like Nintendo's spin, because they did sort of do this like for E3's past, or like when Spike TV had it, and a few other, and GameStop and stuff like that. But what it is, like, the developer kind of sits down and they get maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, like, I don't know, and they're like, yeah, here's our game, we're going to show you exclusive gameplay of our game, and it's like 4 minutes of gameplay or something like that. It's not live gameplay. They had to bring a video or whatever that small little level is that they have for E3. But when Nintendo does it, like, oh, we can do that, but how about we do like a half hour of the game, and like the whole time we're just going to be playing the game, and like, although to be fair, like, Nintendo doesn't really announce games until they're almost done anyway, so they actually have something to show.
Except Zelda.
Oh man, there's going to be a lot of Zelda at E3. Hopefully. I imagine there's got to be.
Yeah. I like that piece of, these are video games. Let's show people playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody's going to E3 to see movies, like, so show games. And as cool as the Uncharted 4 trailer was, like, that's not what Uncharted 4 is. Like, you can tell me that's what it is, but it's not going to look like that. That's not what I'm doing with it.
I mean, they did show the gameplay the next E3 though.
But going back to just that idea of just like a full-on trailer, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
That drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think, well, that's just like an E3 tradition at this point. We're going to see a lot of trailers.
Oh, yeah, it's all trailers.
A lot of CG this. Actually, probably less, though. I think they're sort of shying away from CG just because it's getting a little expensive. Outside of, like, their Blur trailer, I think I've noticed a lot of games are starting to do a lot of stuff in-engine. I think it just saves them money.
Yeah, probably.
And this is kind of cool. I think this is cool. I don't care about Mario Maker. I know some people do. But this is kind of cool. Nintendo's done this a few times where they'll let you play a game at Best Buy for like a weekend. They did this with Super Smash Brothers. They did this with Pikmin. And I don't remember what else they've done this with. I think that's really cool, though. I think it's kind of neat. In theory, the fans get to play E3 games during E3.
I mean, I think it's Nintendo's approach to what we were talking about with Sony with PT and with Entwined last year.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Now you can go play it, but Nintendo doesn't quite have that online infrastructure to be able to do that. I feel like if everybody with a Wii U tried to get online at the exact same moment, I think Nintendo would just explode. So their idea is just drive down to your Best Buy, try it out. Which I love the idea of. Again, it goes back to the same idea with Treehouse is. These are games, so let's watch people play games. Let's play games. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be. Here's a new trailer for what Yoshi's Woolly World is going to look like.
Yeah, instead of here, let's play Yoshi's Woolly World for like a half hour. I think in theory these Best Buy things are cool, but in practice they like suck because I think to play Super Smash Brothers was a 3-hour wait.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. But I mean, I'm assuming I've never been to E3, but I'm assuming that's probably the same experience you get at
E3. That's true. Oh shit! I didn't think about that. Maybe Nintendo's just really on board with getting people the real E3 experience. All right. I guess I'm kind of excited for Nintendo at E3 because I never know what they're doing. They're always doing something goofy.
And that's the best part is you never know what you're gonna see.
That's all. Yeah, that's the best E3 stuff. It's like, what the heck am I looking at, or what the hell are they doing? So, moving on to now, I guess, not sad news. I don't know. Konami is just not a video game company anymore. They're just not. And they said they were now going to focus on mobile games. Which, okay, that's the news. Konami is now focusing on mobile games. And they're also going to be focusing on, like, pachinko slots, which they make way more money than they've ever made on any of their other games. But yeah, they're basically going to be looking at gambling and mobile games. Since Konami sort of moved on to mobile, and they've kind of separated themselves entirely from video games. I guess the kind of cool thing, this is happening quite a bit. This happened when Rare sort of split up with Yooka-Laylee. There's some irrational devs who tried to make their own Kickstarter games, and so one of the other cast-offs from Konami was Koji Igarashi. This guy I don't think is as well known. I'm surprised that his Kickstarter did as well as it did because I don't think he's as well known. This is definitely more of a cult game than something like Banjo-Kazooie.
Castlevania?
I think Castlevania.
Think about how many Castlevania games there are. Castlevania is not a cult game. Like if you go back to like now, I think it is because it's been so long. But if you go back to like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation era,
that's true.
I mean, those were some of the best Game Boy Advance games were those Castlevania games there.
I guess that's true. But I know what this is like I never played those games, so like it must be a cult game.
I don't know what this is, so clearly it's not popular.
So, yeah.
No, I would definitely not say. I would say this is in the same vein of Banjo-Kazooie, where it's a style game that nobody does anymore, and it's from a guy who, in the same time frame, like 90s, early 2000s, was just killing it with these games.
Yeah. That's true, and he was. If people are kind of wondering like where he went, so Konami actually had him. I think he did like the last few games he worked on were some of the Castlevania. I think he might have worked on the ones for DS. But after those, like Konami like made him do mobile games for a long time. Like he was a producer on like a bunch of crappy mobile games, and it was kind of obvious. If the Kickstarter thing doesn't make it obvious they didn't like doing it, I don't know what will. I think that even if you don't like Castlevania, you should at least check out this Kickstarter video because it's basically Iga. He goes by Iga. His fans call him Iga. It's basically him just like saying, basically Konami, they wouldn't let me do what I wanted, and we're here to prove that it's like people actually do want to play these games. Yeah, I think the Kickstarter I thought the Kickstarter video was kind of funny, even if you're not a huge fan of Castlevania.
So what's really cool about this game is kind of in the similar vein of Yooka-Laylee. This game hit 1 million in under 24 hours. So again, that idea of nobody wants to see this game from publishers, like the big publishers throwing this out here, they all kind of have that. But then you throw it out to the actual people, and people support this like crazy. I think as of now, I don't have the Kickstarter pulled up, but I think it's at like 2.5 million.
Yeah, it's as of now it's 2.25. So it's like 2.25.
So again, like it's that same thing where it's people like these games, and it just to me some of this starts to show how out of touch some of these publishers are with some of the crowds that are out there. Like there is audiences screaming for things that are not Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But you've got to take a chance on them, and again, it goes. I just don't think those big companies are willing to do that.
No, I think every company's trying. I think what happened, like, because we're sort of going through like a little bit of a video game crash because everybody's trying to chase the Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed money. Yep. So they were putting budgets into games expecting Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed numbers, and they're just not going to get that. So I think these kind of small games went by the wayside. It's like we either pump a ton of money in these games or we make mobile games, and like that was it. So these small games, I think I could see why developers weren't publishers weren't really into supporting these smaller ones because they just couldn't make the Call of Duty money, and they knew that they could make probably a better profit and probably even more money with a crappy free-to-play mobile game.
Oh, tons more money.
Yeah. So I can see why these games sort of disappeared from a business sense. I think one of the more interesting things about this is that this game actually has a publisher. I don't know if you know that.
Does it really?
Yeah. So the initial $500,000, like the money so far, is basically like
it's concept.
Yeah. It's basically to show the publisher, whoever the publisher is. They haven't really announced. It's probably people have been talking about Atlas. I think Atlas would make a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, yep, it's got to be.
Yeah, so they're kind of showing like the publisher, like, hey, the people are willing to buy this game. They're willing to put up this much money for it. So here's and like they only need to show like $500,000 worth of investment into it, and then the publisher is going to okay the game. So I think this is just basically some like big massive pre-order, which I'm okay with. And they're actually really upfront about that in the video too. Like they said they had a publisher. They said this was just to drum up interest for the game. So I think I'm pretty cool with that. I kind of wish more of the Kickstarters were like that because I think they'd actually get made.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of them I think a lot of these Kickstarters have already gone and talked to like the big publishers and they've said no. So okay, well fine, we'll do it on Kickstarter. But this is like, look, we talked to a publisher. They said if we get interest, they'll help us with it. We're going to be upfront with that. That's what this is for, is basically to prove interest. By supporting us, you're getting the things that you get with Kickstarter. I don't know. I'm not a huge Kickstarter person, but you get a copy of the game. You can, help do whatever. You can get your fancy T-shirt or whatever and call it good.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of cool. I imagine if they'd done this for Mega Man Legends 3, like Mega Man Legends 3 would now exist.
Oh, but easily.
Yeah, and Capcom. Sorry, this is really off topic. Capcom's final response was that Mega Man Legends 3 thing was like,
no.
They basically like, we didn't get the response we expected. The fans should have we should have had more fans, and like they've totally just blamed on the fans. I don't remember the exact wording of it was, but it's like, fans, you screwed up.
Nobody sent us checks in the mail for this concept of a video game, so therefore you're not getting it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh man. Last thing I want to say about this, there's no gameplay for it, which is kind of weird. And there's like, literally all we have is like 3 concept art images of what gameplay might look like. And last time we had that was with Mighty Number 9. And that game just... And I think people are just kind of going on the goodwill of Iga. Like, he'll do a good job. He'll do a good job, we think, maybe.
If you didn't play Castlevania, like, I will tell you, some of those Game Boy Advance ones, those are some of my favorite games. Like, as we're talking about this, all I can think is, I need to go find a Game Boy Advance so I can play those games, because those are some of my favorite games.
I know they had Game Boy Advance. I thought it was just like I thought it went from Super Nintendo and that was like DS and PlayStation.
No, there were like 3 or 4 really, really good. Maybe they were DS games. I don't remember. In my mind, they were Game Boy Advance games.
Are you quickly Googling?
Crap. I am quickly Googling this like crazy. I'm pretty sure they were Game Boy Advance. I did have a DS for like a year, though. I don't remember what happened. Yeah, okay. And it was the one I was thinking, Area of Sorrow. That was the one. And
that was on Game Boy?
That is on Game Boy Advance.
All right. Okay, yeah.
Don't sound like an idiot.
So yeah, so I guess actually the thing that is kind of cool about this, like a next gen version of these games, because we just haven't seen. Wait, what the hell does a next gen version of these games even look like? I have no idea. I have no concept
Yeah.
of the next gen version of it. They could look really really cool. I think
Oh yeah.
this is a game like I would definitely buy once it's out. I'm kind of on Kickstarter in general, so I think it'd be
Same
really
here.
cool to see.
This would be a game that I would buy day one if it was getting released, but I don't know, something about the whole Kickstarter thing just does not appeal to me at all.
Yeah. So for our last bit of news, they finally showed some Rock Band 4 footage.
Nobody cares about that.
Okay, what do you mean nobody cares about that? I thought that's what you do care about. You're gonna have to
No.
like this one over because I don't. Rock Band again. I think Rock Band's okay.
Rock. What are you going to do with Rock Band gameplay? You're not going to change gameplay. I had no desire to see gameplay. What I was excited about was all the crap that they announced about how this game works, and it's stuff that you would never see in a gameplay video. This is the one exception to my I want to see gameplay because the gameplay is going to be the dumb colors coming at you.
Yeah.
Let's be real. There's nothing you can do with that. Guitar Hero's trying, and everybody went, "Why?" Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at this, like the stuff they announced just sounds so cool, and
So yeah, why don't you like? Okay, we have like a huge list of things they have announced. Like what in this list like makes you go, oh my god?
all right. So first of all, they announced what are called gigs, which I think if you're playing by yourself doesn't quite gonna have the same effect. But the idea with this is instead of just in Rock Bands before, you just make your set list of 4 songs. What this is you pick from the sound of it. Either you can kind of pick like 1 or 2, or you pick a genre, and then what happens, or each member of the party picks a different song, and from there, after you play a song, it like just like if you were at a live show, and there's kind of that pause. And what happens is that pause is there's like a quick 20-second voting mechanic where everybody votes for what song they want to play next.
Oh, okay.
So like the whole concept
cool.
was like, okay, so if you kind of want to be a dick, you can all pick the song that like the singer can't sing, or like your drummer looks exhausted, so you pick the song with the big drum track. So it's just this whole idea of different things, and then depending on how you play will determine if you get an encore or not, as opposed to before if you just make it through. So there's all this different kind of things as to how they're trying to make these subtle tweaks to it. And that's what I was excited about for Rock Band 4 is they're not going to revamp the gameplay. You can't. It is what it is. This is never going to be it's like a sports game. When you look at like the new Madden coming out, nobody is pumped for the new, you know what I mean, the new Madden gameplay mechanic. They're pumped for what is this going to look like, what new feature sets are in it. That's what I'm looking for with this. So that was really cool. They announced the campaign's going to be something RPG-ish, which is really all they said. Is they just kept saying that was really all they said. Is they said think of it like a rock band RPG. That's what the campaign's gonna look like, and that's really all anybody said.
Oh man, I hope there's really awkward like cinematics with like you getting mad at band members and stuff like that.
I hope so.
That'd be so good.
I hope so. Yeah, so they announced a couple cool things. The guitar, they basically said, yeah, guitar is guitar at this point, and I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna complain about that. That's the thing that's been being used for 15 years now, so I don't think anyone's expecting sweeping changes there. But a couple of cool things that they announced is with the drums. So in Rock Band 3, and I believe it was in 2 as well, when you did like the overdrive, it was just like a smack the drums as hard as you can in random patterns to make whatever noise you could make.
Okay.
In this one, what they do is for each genre, they've come up with like some of the more common fills that you would actually hear.
Oh, that's
and one of those
okay,
just like
neat.
randomly pops up. So like you'll be playing like a 90s rock song, and they'll just like you get the drum overdrive, and instead of just giving you like the freeform thing, it'll be okay, here's a random really cool drum solo that we're just gonna throw in here for 10 seconds.
Oh, okay, that actually is kind of cool. All right, that's
which is
neat.
awesome. Because those drum things, like literally, I think just everybody ended up either going, "Oh shit, now I can take a break," or just okay, I'm just gonna tap this so I keep getting points.
Oh, okay, I get that. So, do you want a Rock Band 5 after this? Like, from what you've heard, like, are you like, okay, that's pretty much as far as you can ever take Rock Band?
Well, and again, I think the idea with this, and what was really cool to me, is in most of the interviews that I was reading from a lot of the stuff came out through IGN, is they talked about whenever they asked anybody who worked at Harmonix, why do you want to make this game? And they said, we wanted it on the new platforms so that we could just play it with our friends and have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. I don't think Rock Band is something that needs a yearly update because it is what it is. Outside of a different campaign structure and outside of subtle tweaks, which this has a lot from what they've already talked about, there's not really a whole lot you can do with it. And I think Harmonix knows that at this point, that,
Yeah.
you know what, this is not a yearly franchise. This is here it is, maybe we'll come back in 3 or 4 years, give you another one.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of cool because now they got like 3 or 4 years of music to play with.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and, I mean, there's already thousands of songs that you can download anyway, which is cool.
Yeah.
The other really cool part that I saw was the vocals, how they're redoing this. Is, first of all, they brought back the harmonies, which they had in the Beatles rock band, and that's the only time that showed up. So instead of just having one vocal track, it's got 3. But the other thing they decided is that they're ditching the whole pitch matching thing. So if you played Rock Band before, the entire point of singing was to hit the same note.
Yeah.
And now they're focusing just more on singing in tune with the song. So regardless of if your pitch isn't quite right, as long as you're hitting kind of like the same... Key? I don't even know what they're going... Yeah, key is, I think it's key, yeah. But they're also saying, okay, well, you can there's parts where you can do some improv stuff. So one of the ones that one of the interviews I was reading, they discussed how in one of the Smashing Pumpkins live albums, they use some vibrato in a spot where they wouldn't have used vibrato. The game will actually pick up on that and will let you do that without penalizing you. So you can kind of sing it to your own style almost.
That's kind of cool. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. These are kind of cool. Dang, I can see why you're all excited about that.
Yeah, but again, it's not the gameplay that anybody wants to see. Everybody knew what this was going to look like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited.
So it's just all these like little tweaks and stuff like that.
Yep.
So how excited are you about Guitar Hero?
Nope. and that's the thing with this is just all this stuff that they're saying. Like, they made a game that people want. Like, you know what I mean? Guitar Hero felt like this is the game we think people want.
Yeah.
We think people want to feel like this, but they said, you know what? The point of Rock Band is to be sitting in your basement with 4 friends playing stupid plastic instruments, trying to pretend you're in a band. And we're going to do that the best we can. Like, to the point where one of the things I didn't even mention is now instead of just like the game starting, your drummer can click the cymbal 3 times, and that's the start of the song. So you've got like a lead in like you normally would. Like just stupid stuff like that, where it's like, we're going to make this as fun. No more pitch matching. Just sing it in the right key, be close, improv a bit. This whole game just sounds like, you know what? The point of this game is to have fun, so go have fun.
So they probably just made one of the best party games ever.
Oh, absolutely. That's all I'm expecting for this. This is just going to be get a group of people together, probably drunk, and have fun.
All right, I guess I could see a little. Okay, now, honestly, you got me a little excited for it now. I'm never gonna buy it, but I'll probably play it at your house though.
Absolutely, because I'm gonna buy it.
All right. There's some other little news stuff throughout the week about like the Ratchet and Clank delay and stuff, but we just like to talk about news we actually want to talk about. Ratchet and Clank delay just makes me sad. So, so I guess that kind of wraps up episode 13. Man, I don't know why this just started down on me, but I realized like that we've been doing this for like 13 weeks. Like this is like our 3rd month of doing this.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, so we've been doing this for 3 months. I don't know.
Man, that dumb idea we had turned into a big thing. Well, a little
to us anyway. Not to
big time waster, if nothing else.
Yeah. So as always, we follow us on Twitter. Man, we always keep asking. Please comment. Please tell us what you guys want to listen to. Please, if you guys like this long form, hour-long-ish podcast, if you think we should maybe split it up, or maybe because we were also considering maybe just doing just little 10-minute bits throughout the week. We haven't quite decided, but we're probably going to keep doing these hour-long podcasts until we actually figure out what the hell we're doing. So, as always, follow us on Twitter at Darksliders_POD. I've noticed we actually got a lot of new Twitter followers, which is pretty cool. Like actual real people and not bots. So, thank you, real people, for doing that. So, follow us on Twitter, iTunes, YouTube, whatever you're listening to us on, you can probably follow us on that. So thanks again. Well, I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.